Gamers, same t-shirt, same day, another video. It's been about, has it been 3 weeks since the Season 3 has been released? And we're gonna check some of the win rates. And I'll kind of give you guys my opinion, because I also recently did a Civ tier list. I'm kind of curious because I haven't done one of these in a while. I've done them in Season 2, but that was like a couple of months ago. And also we didn't have the 2 new Civs. So that's exciting stuff. So in bronze, Mongol apparently is the strongest, which I'm a bit surprised, because I guess it's the tower rushing, right? People probably put tower and then like the enemy doesn't know how to kill it and stuff. But I am a bit surprised because Mongol tower rushing, I would say, is probably harder to do than some of the other stuff. But I guess if the opponent only has villagers, maybe it makes sense. French and English are up there, Ottoman is up there, and Delhi is up there. The only civ that's doing pretty bad is Malians. And there's a bunch of Malian games actually, 711 games, which is a decent amount. Ottomans have way more. I think Ottomans is like, I wouldn't imagine that Ottoman would have a low win rate on ladder, simply because it's a fairly straightforward civ to play. I honestly think it's pretty much like French and English almost. It's slightly more complicated because you gotta get stone for military schools. But it's almost identical in like, you make units, you attack, right? And the units are also automated, the free ones. So, I can see that. I'm surprised that Delhi's at 50%, because historically Delhi has had crap win rate in low leagues. And the least popular civ, by far, actually, is Delhi. Followed up by Acid. Okay, interesting. Delhi was always least popular civ, by the way, so that makes sense. Silver, okay, Silver takes, English takes over, and you can see HRE just jumping through, Delhi going down, Ottomans going down, and we already have way more games, by the way. Look at this, 4,000 games. In bronze we had 1.1k, we got 4 or 5 times the amount of games now in silver. So a lot of the players are in silver apparently. China is up there. Malians again, underperforming. Rus second to last, once again. At 46 or 49%, win rate is not great, but it's not like it's, you know, unplayable or broken. Like Malian, I think, is definitely struggling in the win rates. The other ones I think are okay, and obviously English having 52.6 is not like, oh, it's OP as hell kind of thing. Alright, let's go gold. French dips down under 50%. Ottoman is pretty much around the same area. This doesn't count. Yeah, this doesn't count. This is only in gold, right? Yeah, this doesn't count gold, silver, and bronze. This counts that. 15,000. So I think the most of the player base is in gold, right? It is gold plus flat. Okay. Because you can see the amount of games. That's so sad, man. Delhi has 3,500 games only. Compare that to French with 16,000 and English with 22,000 games. Holy fuck. Interesting, Mongol, it has kind of like, you know, mid to high games played, but it still maintains a high win rate, which is pretty cool. So apparently if you're struggling against HRE in gold, you can see that HRE does not have a good matchup into Mongols in gold, probably because of the tower rush, and against French, which are its natural predators. Fun fact for all y'all there, HRE actually is quite good against Mongols at a high level. Quite good, because you age up before the first tower even begins, because of the increased gathering rate, and because you can age up with billion workers as HRE and still get value, because all your workers then collect faster if you put the chapel. But at lower leagues, it's the opposite, so it's funny how that works. But yeah, I think this is the main reason for this is because people just don't attack HRE going, and I'm assuming Burger Rush is like the most common strat. And I think people just aren't putting any pressure on HRE, and HRE gets to Burger Palace for free, and then they just clap them with the with Men-at-Arms. So let's look at silver and under. This is what it looks like. So silver, bronze. And I don't know if placement matches count for this. And where was Yeah, Malians is still at 42%, so not much has changed there. Surprisingly though, these civs are very close to one another, so that is cool to see. Let's go Platinum. And suddenly in Plat, 6 civs have positive win rate. Or 50% or more, I guess, I should say. Malians sitting around 42% the whole time, and French win rate actually drops to 47%. Meanwhile, Rus win rate is going up because Rus is pretty difficult to play with, like all the animals and stuff like that, having to control multiple scouts. So the Rus win rate is going up, Delhi win rate went up, Abbasid went down, French went down, Malian is the same, Ottoman more or less the same, China more or less the same, HRE I think it dipped 1%, and then we see Mongol and English going up. I think Platinum is around where people start getting way better at executing build orders early on. Like they fall apart later, but they're getting better at like the early game stuff. You know, they can execute the first 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes correct, and then after that they fall apart. And I think that's why like these civs are doing really, really well. I'm a bit surprised about Delhi, to be honest. But HRE, if you can do it well enough for 7, 8 minutes, you get to castle and then just kill people with Burger if they don't know how to play against it. English, the same thing. If you do Spearman Longbow really well, it becomes very hard to play against it. And Mongol, you know, Tower Rush. Diamond. English and Mongol at the top. So not much has changed. HRE at the top. Delhi dropped quite a bit, actually. It went from, what was it, 52%, make it 52. It went to 48%, so it dropped quite a bit. Malians is dropping even more. Holy shit, it's under 40%. What was the lowest win rate we ever had? There was a civ that had 35% win rate once. Was it China? It was China, right? It had 35% win rate. That was crazy. Malians versus HRE 50%. I honestly think that this is a decent matchup for Malians because of Musafari Warriors. They have 28% against Ottomans. Oh, I guess if people are doing the build where you build a military school in Dark Age, people probably just lose houses and shit. I would assume. But alright. But you know, if you play HRE, you can see like HRE does really well against English, not so great against Mongol, even though it should, like I said. And then HRE, interesting, in Diamond has a positive win rate against French, because people finally learn how to play against French as HRE. But weirdly enough, they have low win rate against Rus, which are very close in terms of playstyle to French, so I'm kind of curious why that is. And now, we're gonna check Conqueror and above. So this is like Conqueror 1 to 3, I guess, only. What am I expecting at the top? On the current ladder map pool, I would probably expect top 3. I'm gonna put China, Mongol, HRE, I would probably put it. I can see English being there too. I think it's gonna be HRE, then China, then Mongol. But I can see these 4 I think are gonna remain in the top 3. I would be surprised if they don't. What? Why the fuck does Rus have 58%? Oh, it's the hideout! It's the hideout, that's why. Oh, it's the hideout. It has to be. It has to be, yeah. It's the hideout. Wait, can I figure this out actually? I think you're right, it's the hideout. Rus versus any civ. Conqueror and above. look, Mediterranean, that's me. So that doesn't count. I play it on water, okay? But even if it counts with water, Rus is not better than water. Hideout, 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 Liberty, hideout, 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 holy shit. Yeah, so This is the part where you have low sample sizes or lower sample sizes. You have to look at why things are the way they are. They have 75% win rate out of 108 games, and it's 288 games total. So 1/3 of the games of Rus is on Hideout, and they're played on the pit, I guess, somewhat successfully. So whenever you have lower sample sizes, you can't take them at face value sometimes, because you have to look at why, if it's like weird of, you know, a reason, like Rus. Rus is one of the worst civs on the land. They're okay in water. They're not that good on hybrid maps. On Hideout, they're the best civ by far, because there's a lot of forests and you can build hunting cabins, and you get the most insane hunting cabins super early. So this is something that I would not really take like, oh yeah, Rus is really good right now. Rus would, honestly, at Conqueror level and above, would probably be at about 40% win rate, maybe 42% win rate without Hideout. Mongols is the second with 56%. China is third with 54%. English is 51%. Acher is actually 48%, surprisingly. Maybe it's because it's been a while since Acher became like really good and people have learned how to deal with it. So Acher versus Rus. Rus wins. Again, these are not massive samples, but I guess that people just learn how to play against Acher better at the high level. I'm not really surprised about China and Mongols. Mongols has always been a good ladder civ. And there's still plenty of maps where you can play Mongols successfully and tower rushing and all those things. China is just, it's the best civ right now. It's really good. And the only bad matchup apparently that China has is against Mongols. And Mongols has a positive win rate against everything. It's funny because Rus is number 1 with 58%, but it has 3 bad matchups. Or so it says, right? Let's look at some of the other win rates. China versus Delhi, 65%. Even though it's a low sample size, that sounds about right. It might even be like 70% or something like that. China versus Malians, I would say that's definitely good for China as well. English has 38% against Mongols. I don't know why this is. English counters Mongols at a high level, so I'm not quite sure why that is, to be honest. English, the reason why English is very good against Mongols is because you cannot tower rush English, and that's like the main thing of Mongols, and the longer the game goes, it favors English. Mongol has a timing in castle, but if you kind of play to it, it's not hard to defend. Ottomans having around 50% win rate. I think Ottoman win rate will go up as time goes, because for a lot of people, Ottoman is still new, right? Like, we've played with Ottomans on the test servers for like about a month before they got released. Like 20 of us, right? So we have more knowledge about Ottomans than others, but I think once other people catch up and Ottoman gets more and more figured out, I think Ottoman win rate will go up. Interestingly, Malians have 43%, so I think this is the highest win rate out of any league that I've checked. Malians have the highest win rate in Conqueror, which is pretty funny. They're still pretty bad, and I'm a bit surprised that Delhi has 43%. Very, very surprised actually at that. Did not expect Delhi to have that low of a win rate, because I think Delhi is quite good. Abbasid, by the way, I haven't mentioned Abbasid, but Abbasid has like 44 to 47% win rate across all leagues, and I also think Abbasid's not bad at all. I think it's a pretty good civ, so I'm kind of surprised that they have this win rate, because they're also playable in Mediterranean, like on water maps. So that's very surprising to me. In this whole thing, I think the most surprising thing is probably Delhi and Abbasid being that low. French at a high level being this low is not really a surprise. A lot of people figure out how to play against it, and people are a lot better against French knights in the early game. Rus, I mean, not really a surprise. They're really good on Hideout, but that's about it. And now, the last thing to check, which civ is the most OP civ for all leagues combined. Mongol, baby. Just slightly, look at that. It's the same win percentage, but slightly better. Slightly better. And interestingly, opposite comes 5th here. So, Malians around 42%. Not surprising. I've said in my tier list that it is the worst civ. And I think it's also difficult to play. It's very micro-intensive and it's just not as good. Rus being second worst, not really surprised. Makes sense. I would probably... I mean, I guess this list makes sense overall, right? If this was Conqueror only, I would probably put French next here. But I think these win rates, except Malians, are really good. Like, I want to emphasize this because I think a lot of people don't realize having 10 different civs that are vastly different from one another. Like, they're very different. Having this close of win rates is insane. It is really, really, really good. Anything within +5, -5 is still in the line of balance. I would definitely say Malians are weak. But every... I mean, Rus is probably really weak too, right? If you exclude hideout games, they're probably at 42, 43%, or even less. I would say those two civs are weaker than others, but every other civ I think is, you know, I think it's okay. Like I said, I think Ottoman win rate will go up when people figure out how to play them more. And yeah, other than that, I think it's looking good. And if you look at games by popularity, English by far has the most games, 65,000 almost. Second one is French with 46,000. Third one is actually Ottoman. That's pretty cool. Ottoman with 43.3. Then we got HRE just behind. Then we got China with 39,000 games. So China used to be second least popular after Delhi, but now China is, a lot of people play it. I mean, it's really good, so a lot of people play it now. The civ after that in popularity is Mongols. Makes sense. Then Malians, then Abbasid, then Rus, and then Delhi. Sad. Only 11,000 games. People don't love Delhi enough. I think honestly, if Delhi Elephants were to get buffs, I think Delhi amount of games that players would play Delhi would be a lot higher. Because right now, yeah, Delhi is one-dimensional. So I do think that if Delhi Elephants ever get changed or buffed, I think Delhi would see a lot more play, whether you're in low league or high league. So best civ to defeat China early, Mongols. If you're watching this on YouTube, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed these. Maybe we'll check these again in a couple of weeks. But that's it. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, check out the video tomorrow. And if you're watching on Twitch, let's keep going.